Libra, Scorpio, CUSP, somebody's behavior may have already told you the truth, I'm hearing. You just maybe haven't wanted to believe it because a part of you wants peace. While the other part of you is maybe sitting there thinking, nope, something isn't adding up. And I think this eclipse season is bringing something into the light that maybe you've been feeding for a while. But the interesting part is, I don't think this reading is simply about someone leaving. It's about seeing a relationship clearly enough to decide what you want to do with it. And then wait until you see. All right, I'm hearing. Okay. Yeah, because there's definitely feelings here I'm getting. But welcome in, my Libra Scorpios. Welcome back into the Mystical Soul Tribe. If you're new here, hey, welcome in. It's Amanda here. So who's being eclipsed out of your life? Now, remember, this doesn't automatically mean somebody is being removed from your life, okay? And yeah, it could be a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family connection, a co-worker, a one-sided relationship, an unhealthy attachment, or even an old version of yourself. All right. This cusp is very fascinating because Libra is the energy of harmony, where Scorpio it wants truth. Okay, so your Libra side wants harmony, your Scorpio side wants truth. So you may be the person who says, I'm fine, let's not make a big deal of it. Maybe they didn't mean it that way. But meanwhile, Scorpio, right? It's like, yeah, but I noticed that, right? Like, you notice the change in someone's tone, the delayed replies, the way they suddenly behave differently around certain people, the way maybe they say one thing but do another. And you may not say everything, but you do observe. But eventually your intuition gets to the point where it says, stop explaining away what you're already seeing. What truth have you already felt, but maybe haven't wanted to face? All right, let's really dive in here. So your first card coming out is we have the Sun. What or who is being eclipsed out? Is it a Leo? The Sun. The Sun. We are having an eclipse in the Sun. The Leo eclipse could have been very significant. Okay. This is a positive card, actually. So, yeah, because the Sun is the energy of clarity, something becoming obvious, something that's coming to light. The Empress, Taurus energy. Leo, Taurus energy. Temperance, Sag energy. Okay. The Empress is the energy of growth, value, self-worth, abundance. So what may be getting eclipsed isn't necessarily a person. Maybe this is a relationship dynamic where you've been giving more than you've been receiving. Or perhaps you've been waiting for somebody to recognize your value. Maybe you're always the one checking in, always supporting, always understanding, always making relationships work. I'm hearing you need to remember your value. Maybe you've been asking, do they love me? Do they appreciate me? Will they choose me? Are they actually worthy of the access that you're giving them? Okay. All right. So some of you, this could even be about someone who genuinely cares about you. Because the Sun isn't necessarily negative. There's warmth, there's affection, there's genuine love here. Temperance, something needs to come into balance. Maybe one person has been doing all the emotional work while one person keeps compromising. Maybe somebody always has to be the understanding one. Maybe you've been accepting crumbs because you were grateful to receive anything at all. The eclipse is like saying, let's bring everything to the light. Let's bring the truth to the light. Not to punish anybody, not to create dramas, just so that you can finally see clearly. The number 13 could be significant for some of you, 13, 14. Alright, so why is this happening now? Well, we do have the King of Swords. King of Swords is someone that stands in their truth. Clarity, I'm hearing. Ace of Swords. It's like, look at the two swords. Okay, the one is facing down, the one is facing up. It's like you're adjusting your crown, right? From all the illusions. Cutting through that confusion. Like facts, I'm getting facts here now, and then truth. Dishing out facts and getting the truth. Yeah, why now? It's because you're ready to stop making decisions based on the emotion. Alright? You may be finally saying, okay, what are the facts? What did they actually say? What did they actually do? How consistent have they actually been? What does this relationship actually look like? Not what you hoped it would become, alright? Not what it could be. Not what they promised. But what's actually happening? It's like this is a huge turning point. Like imagine someone repeatedly telling you, I will change. I'm going to change. I promise. I swear. This time I'm changing. And you've heard that like several times. All right. And at some point you stop listening to the promise and you start looking at the pattern. That's the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. Or perhaps you've been confused because somebody gives you mixed signals. And one day they're affectionate and the next day they're distant. 1 week they're talking about the future. The next week they disappear and you're trying to decide or decode. Yeah, not decide, decode. That's what I'm getting. Decode. You're trying to decode. And Spirit's like saying here, you don't need to decode the inconsistency. Look at the pattern. This could be also something about a conversation. Someone may finally speak. You may finally speak, right? Maybe something may be said that changes the entire dynamic. Once you know the truth, I can't unknow the truth. There's definitely something about truth and clarity that is definitely coming in here. All right? What are you not seeing? So here's the Two of Cups. Okay. Let's get that another card out. Two of Cups, so it's like soul connections, Cancer energy, fire energy, juicy. I'm hearing juicy. This is juicy. Because some of I'm hearing some of you may be assuming they don't care. They've moved on. There's nothing there. There's something about there's a genuine emotional connection here. There's mutual feelings, mutual attraction, mutual respect, or a connection that is much deeper than actually somebody realizes. The Queen of Wands is the energy of confident attraction, strong personal energy, right? For some of you, someone sees you as really attractive. Not just physically, but also your confidence, your presence, your independence, your energy, the way you walk into a room, the way you don't need to beg for attention. And here's where it's getting interesting, because the thing that you're not seeing may be that someone actually values a connection more than they've actually shown you. But there's a catch. Feelings are not enough. You can have the Two of Cups and you can still have problems with communication. You can have attraction and you still need boundaries. You can love someone and still not be ready to build something healthy. So don't hear they have feelings, therefore I must stay. No, that's not the message. The message is see the connection clearly, but also see the behavior clearly. Right? The two things can exist at the same time. Okay. What or who is making room for new? Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady wins the race. I like this. because after all that emotional intensity, Spirit's bringing us back down to earth here with this earthy energy. Slow, steady, and consistent. And independence. Self-worth, security, enjoying your own life. So what is making room for the new? A relationship that doesn't need to be rushed. A connection where someone actually shows up consistently, not like I miss you and then disappears. Not we're going to build something and then it does nothing. But I said I would do it and I did it. So the Knight of Pentacles energy and the Nine of Pentacles energy says that you're also learning to be okay on your own. That changes everything, because when you're comfortable with alone, you stop accepting relationships simply because you're afraid of being alone. Maybe you're single and you've been wondering, when is someone coming? And then like Spirit's saying here, keep building your own life. Keep working, keep creating, keep enjoying yourself, keep becoming the person you want to be. Because the healthier your relationship with yourself becomes, the less attractive that inconsistent relationships and people become, right? Keep looking forward, right? So like his head is turned here towards the sun, all right? Looking for the truth and clarity in a situation. But here she's looking that way, he's looking that way on that horse. Horses could be very significant. She's also looking that way, right? Towards the future. So what should you do now? So we do have the Seven of Pentacles here. Alright. It's like investment. I'm like seeing the question in my mind now, is this actually worth continuing to invest in? This things that's happening this side. Because here is a Seven of Wands, he's facing that way. So 7 sevens could be significant for some of you, all right? So that question I said now, right, is this actually worth continuing to invest in, right? Instead of the question is, how much have I already invested? Yeah, not that question. Rather like, what am I getting back? There's like this important difference. Maybe you spent years investing in a relationship, time, energy, money, emotional support, patience, understanding. But what has grown? That's the question. What has grown? But I'm hearing protect what you've built. But I'm also getting boundaries, your peace, your standards, your future. Don't let someone convince you that having boundaries means you don't care. Because you can care deeply and still say, this doesn't work for me anymore. Maybe someone keeps trying to pull you backwards into old dynamics. Like, you don't have to argue and you don't have to prove your point and you don't have to convince them. You simply stand your ground. And this is especially important if you do have a tendency to avoid conflict. Because Libra energy is like, I don't want that drama, but Scorpio is also like, I'm not going to keep pretending, right? So this time, like, you don't have to choose, all right? You can choose peace and you can choose truth. So, Spirit's advice is the Fool. Look towards the future. Look towards the new beginning. Look towards the sun. Look at the different direction. Keep looking forward. Take that leap. Okay. Five of Swords. Yes, don't take this old conflict and arguments with you. Because sometimes we do leave those relationships physically, but mentally we're still fighting with that person 6 months later, even 5 years later, right? Some of us, we are replaying that conversations. I should have said this. Why did they do that? I should have known better. Maybe I should have handled it differently. But yeah, the Fool's like, look at the truth and put it down. You don't need to win the argument anymore. You don't need to win your peace. What's at the bottom of the deck? Four of Wands. Beautiful. This can represent many different things for all of you. Stability, happiness, celebration, home, supportive connections. I'm hearing Spirit saying, don't let one difficult relationship convince you that the relationships themselves are the problem. There are still good people out there. There are still genuine friendships. There's still love. There are still people who will celebrate you. There are still connections where you don't have to constantly wonder where you stand. You just need to stop carrying the old conflict into the new chapter. Yeah. Something is being brought to the light and you being reminded of your value. You're done guessing. You're ready for truth. And there may be actually genuine feelings and attraction here, but feelings need to be matched by behavior. I'm hearing you moving towards consistency, stability, and stronger independence. I'm hearing here, like, stop investing automatically. Ask whether the relationship is actually growing. And then also protect your boundaries. A new chapter is available, but you can't take the old battles with you. And there is space for healthier, happier, more stable connections. My Libra Scorpios, I feel like Spirit really wants you to hear this, that your intuition wasn't trying to ruin your relationship, it's trying to protect you. Sometimes we think intuition is that dramatic little voice screaming, run. But, sometimes the intuition is actually much quieter. It's that feeling you get when someone's behavior changes. It's the little knot in your stomach. It's that noticing that something doesn't feel the same. It's the thought that keeps coming back, something isn't right. And then you talk yourself out of it. I'm probably overthinking. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. Maybe I'm misunderstood. But eventually the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. So I'm hearing this eclipse maybe the moment you stop arguing with yourself, that you don't have to accuse anybody. You don't have to create drama. You don't even have to leave immediately. But you do need to be honest with yourself. And maybe ask, if nothing about this relationship changes, would I still choose it? Yes, that's the question. It's not that what if they change, and not what could this become, not what if I lose them, but if this is, it's like, if this is exactly what it is today, is this enough for me? If the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. Maybe the person was important. Maybe you genuinely love them. Maybe they helped you through something. Maybe you have beautiful memories together, but that doesn't make the relationship a mistake. Some people come into our lives and change us. Some teach us what love feels like. Some teach us what boundaries feel like. Some teach us what we will never tolerate again. And some teach us how powerful we become when we finally choose ourselves. So my Libra Scorpios, don't be afraid of the truth, all right? Because the truth isn't here to destroy your life. The truth is here to set you free. And that Four of Wands here at the bottom of the deck, that underlining energy is, after all of that, Spirit is showing me, isn't showing emptiness. They're actually showing me a place where you can finally feel safe, a place where you're not constantly questioning, a place where you're not decoding the messages, a place where you don't have to compete for someone's attention, a place where you can laugh, relax, be yourself, feel wanted. So maybe this eclipse isn't saying this person is leaving. Maybe it's just saying the old relationship dynamic is leaving, and that changes everything. Maybe you can affirm in the comments, I trust what I feel. Thank you for liking, leaving comments, being subscribers here. Remember, hey, trust your intuition. Your intuition didn't suddenly become louder. You actually just simply became ready to listen to it. So beautiful souls, I'll see you in the next one.